Hello, everyone. Today I'll be sharing my takeaways from the story of reality, chapters 6 through 10, and a few other thoughts. The first words of the Bible found in the book of Genesis are more significant than many may realize at first, not just because of what they teach us about the origin of the universe, but also what they eliminate us from believing about reality. Although, if we're not careful, we can attempt to force other worldviews to fit into the real story of Christianity. Some people may see it as a bad thing that there are multiple religions that claim to be Christianity, but to me, the fact that there exists counterfeits is proof that there is a real version of Christianity. We all have these three options we get to decide best explains reality: the Christian story, and two other alternatives. The book goes into more detail about them, but I'm going to try to explain my personal understanding of this as simply as I can. In Genesis, we are told that God created everything. He is separate from His creation. Because He made it, He owns it. This includes the universe and us as well. But He doesn't see us as simply property. He loves us, and we can be His children. He is a personal God. This may not sound like anything new until you realize how incredibly intelligent it was for God to be specific about this separation between Himself and His creation. The second alternative encompasses a vast amount of religions that believe in a God that is not personal or separate from them. Only one single thing is real. God, as mind, exists in a perfect, undivided unity. God is in everything because He is everything. No one above you to answer to, but also no one to turn to when life goes south. And the third alternative includes any view that there is no one behind the origin of our universe. Matter is all that exists and is real. However, we know things like thoughts, for example, that do not exist as physical things are real. Without going into all of the usual topics of debate, there is this very simple thing that most people tend to agree exists, which is the problem of evil and suffering in this world. We all seem to have an innate desire for justice and to fix the world's brokenness. One of the reasons why I believe the story of Christianity is true is because it explains that the world wasn't broken in the beginning, but that it was good. It explains why it became broken, full of evil and suffering, whereas in the other two alternatives, there is nothing wrong. Everything just is. Another component the other alternatives have in common is that their story of reality revolves around them, whereas in the Christian story, the main character is God. Even Christians can make the mistake of believing that Christianity is all about them. Other people may find it very easy to doubt the Christian story or even some elements in it, but actually doubting is one of the easiest things people can do. It may seem logical to doubt as a safeguard, but in our effort to keep ourselves from being deceived, doubt can create a barrier keeping us from the truth. It's entirely possible to doubt things that are true. The existence of doubt does not take away from the truthfulness of something. Doubt simply points out the presence of questions, not the absence of truth from the thing in question. For example, I remember looking at the rocket that went into outer space just a few days ago. I remember how easily my children believed what they were witnessing on television was truly happening. And I saw my husband, an aerospace engineer, admire the engineering behind this project. I personally felt nervous for these astronauts as I imagined what they must be feeling or what could go wrong. And then I remembered the many people that believe that NASA has made this whole landing on the moon thing up. The flat earthers. Although we have video footage of the rocket going into space, if I choose to doubt this is true, I can tell myself this footage is very easy to create in a computer program. these astronauts can be recorded in a room somewhere to simulate this whole thing. There have been many movies done of outer space. Why should this be the real thing? I can doubt just about any detail I chose to. The video footage of the shape of the Earth, who can convince me that it is real? Do we believe there are astronauts in space right now? Do we believe the Earth is not flat? Why? Because many educated people say so? Because we have recordings? Because people witnessed it in person and have given us their testimony? And there again, nothing new, but highly intelligent all along. The manner God chose to reveal himself to us through eyewitness testimony. Some skeptics believe it would have been way better for God to have sent Jesus in today's world. But people could have doubted him perhaps even more in our time. Just like some people might not believe there are astronauts in space right now or that the Earth is round. Even if we had footage of Jesus, like we have of the astronauts, people still need to trust that what they are seeing and hearing is true. And some would even go as far as admitting they saw it, but reject the implications of its truthfulness and brush it off as not truth, because truth is truth, but doubt can always choose not to trust it. And you would be wrong. But it wasn't because something was not true, but because you decided you would not believe it was true. Our decision to trust and believe is vital. It is our appropriate response to truth. I wasn't on site where the rocket blasted off into space, but I saw it on TV. Do I believe things on TV cannot be real sometimes? Yes. So what else can convince me it happened? I know people actually witnessed it. I believe their reports are true. Although I wasn't there, I make the decision to trust the reliability of the eyewitnesses, including that of the astronauts. I also consider how reasonable is my judgment about reality. If I choose not to believe things that seem truthful, can I really believe anything is true? Would I walk around in life thinking I can't know anything? That would contradict logic. In a similar way, I wasn't there in person to witness Jesus' death and resurrection, but I have heard that others were, and I trust their eyewitness testimony report is true. If there was none, it would be easy not to believe, but no one can deny that we do have it and has survived even to our time. We can doubt just about anything we want to, but we ought to believe as many things that can be true. And there is definitely more proof for me to believe in Jesus' resurrection than those two astronauts leaving Earth on that rocket. By the way, I don't believe the Earth is flat, and I do choose to trust that the information I have been given is reliable concerning space. Of course, there have been corrections made about prior beliefs about space, Pluto for example, but if new information serves to correct or clarify something about space, it also serves as an example of how likewise more manuscript information has clarified the truthfulness of the Bible. And I hope this is helpful to anyone that finds doubt is keeping them away from listening to the truthfulness of the Christian story of reality.